Sticking with the strategy. A few weeks after this conversation, a big snowstorm rolled through town, the biggest storm Jamie had ever seen. The sky was dark and the snow fell thick, so thick Jamie couldn't even see the ground from his window. He made his coffee at home and drank it to the accompaniment of howling wind and heavy snow bearing up against the walls. It was a great cozy day to be inside, with his heater going for all it was worth, and the warm inside lights glowing yellow against the black storm outside. He'd gone out and bought milk and eggs the day before, so he was all ready to be snowed in. Then suddenly, the glowing light went dark. The low hum of household appliances went silent, and Jamie figured an electrical pole was down somewhere. He turned on his phone flashlight and snuggled down in a corner of his couch with his most comfortable blanket. For a few minutes he enjoyed the enforced vacation and wondered how long it would last, where the failure was, how many people were affected. But that subject didn't interest him very long. He wondered about what he would do if the power outage lasted for days. Not that he had any expectation of that happening, but it was something to think about. He planned out his meals for the next few weeks and tried to compose a poem on the subject of winter snowstorms, and got stuck trying to find a good rhyme for electricity. Eventually, he thought about watching a movie or something on his phone, but he found that he didn't have too much battery life left. Jamie figured it would be wiser to save it in case the electricity was down for a few hours. He might be pretty desperate for light to make his lunch or take a trip to the restroom. He texted his uncle to explain why he wouldn't be online, and his uncle texted back. "First day in months that you haven't lost money," his uncle wrote. Jamie laughed, but then he thought about it. At first he thought it wasn't true, but then he realized that if he subtracted his lifestyle expenses, he hadn't made money for even one day in his whole brief day trading career. With his good head for numbers, Jamie spent the next hour counting and double counting how long he'd be able to continue day trading before his living expenses cut too seriously into his savings. The exercise was depressing. He had a few months left, but there was definitely an end in sight. For some reason, this felt strangely disappointing. All his life, Jamie had bounced from one thing to the next as easily as a rubber ball. But somehow, day trading was a little different. He loved the intensity of it, the way it tapped into a dozen lines of knowledge. He even loved the strategy behind it, though he did break it frequently, mostly from boredom. But he loved to calculate and think on his feet, making quick decisions. But it didn't matter how much he liked it if it was going to drive him bankrupt. He just wasn't making money on his trades, not even enough to support himself, let alone to save. It was time to find a new job. Jamie thought over all the things he'd already done, and then considered what he hadn't. Everything struck him as a letdown after his months as a day trader. He didn't know how he'd be able to go back to working an ordinary job. The snow thudded drearily against the windows, and Jamie's mood sank with it. Why couldn't he be good at day trading? It was just his luck to spend 30 years bouncing from one thing to the next, doing okay at each of them, but not finding anything he liked. And then, just when he found something he really liked enough to do it all his life, he couldn't make it work. Jamie tried over and over to find some error in his favor in his calculations, but there was nothing. So Jamie sat on through another hour of darkness, feeling more and more miserable and more unwilling to move on. At the end of the hour, the lights came on and he continued to sit there. He might have sat there all day, in an unusually glum mood, but his phone rang and he answered it. "Hi, Mom." "Hello, Jamie, what's wrong?" she asked. "Oh, nothing. The electricity went out for a bit. It's back now." Jamie sighed. "Don't try and distract me," his mom retorted. "I may not know day trading from baseball card collecting, but I know when something's wrong with you. Are you sick? You got a cold, didn't you?" "No, Mom, I'm fine." "You lost money?" she guessed. "I've been losing money the whole stupid time," Jamie grumbled. "You've been losing money? What do you mean? How?" "Oh, it's the day trading," Jamie explained. "I don't exactly lose money, but I don't make enough to cover my bills. I don't know. I guess that's just the way it goes for some people. It's a risky job. It's not going to work out for me." "Oh, well, I'm sorry. What are you going to do next?" "I don't know," he said listlessly. "You don't know? You always have ideas, Jamie." "I don't know. I haven't been able to think of anything. It doesn't matter what I do." "This isn't like you, Jamie. I know you always go from one thing to the next, but you're always excited about it. What's wrong?"